Namaste. I would like to discuss what is being much debated these days is the three language formula which the Ministry of Education has a policy that the children studying in government schools must learn three languages. Now this is a policy, not a new policy. This is certainly not something new in the new education policy. This has been there, for a long time, and it is believed that the main reason why this three language policy was formed is because it was thought that the children will learn their mother tongue and will learn English most likely, and therefore they should learn a third language which is spoken somewhere in the country, so that the interaction between the citizens of the country can be better. Now, India is a multilingual country. The states, the boundaries of the states are decided on lingual basis. Normally, one state speaks one language, at least there's a dominant language, and then there could be other languages also. There could be dialects, but there is a major language. So in such a country, it was very important that people learn each other's languages so that there is good interaction. Because these languages, forget about the difference between the Aryan and the Dravidian languages. Even among these languages, the North Indian and the South Indian languages, if one knows one language, it is not necessary that he or she would be able to understand the languages of the neighboring states. Sometimes for a Hindi speaking person, it may be very difficult to follow what a Western UP person is speaking in his local dialect, or a Eastern UP person is speaking in his or her local dialect. So there is so much language variation that it was important that people learn each other's languages, and therefore this three language formula was part of the education policy in India. But what has happened is in the North India, this policy was not implemented honestly. Most of the schools decided to make Sanskrit as the third language, which is actually not a language which is spoken widely among common people, and therefore except for academic value, except for getting grades and passing the examination, there was not much value to learning Sanskrit. You could read religious scriptures and old texts, but for your life, in your daily life, this language was not of much use. It would have been better if North Indian states, and mind you, this is done in the Navodaya schools. So the Navodaya schools, which are run by the government, by the central government, one in every district, they do implement this policy very seriously. And I have seen a school in Allahabad, Navodaya school in Meja, which actually teaches Malayalam to children from UP. And children also get to spend some time in Kerala so that they can, pick up the language well. So we were not honest in North India. We did not, pick up languages from around the country. We chose an easier option and said that, Sanskrit will be the third language. But for people in South India and other parts of non-Hindi speaking in India, they were learning a third language. And the apprehension in Tamil Nadu was that in the name of the third language, Hindi would be imposed on states, and therefore Tamil Nadu has opposed this policy. There was a violent movement against Hindi in which about 70 people lost their lives, and Tamil Nadu state adopted a policy of two language formula. And I have the fortune of being part of CABE, Central Advisory Board on Education, at the time of Mr. Arjun Singh, when he was the Minister for Human Resources Development. And I have seen in official meetings the Tamil Nadu Education Minister, whenever the question of language was discussed, he would stand up and say that we don't agree with the 3-language formula, we follow only a 2-language formula. So the apprehension of Tamil Nadu that Hindi would be imposed has been revived, because now BJP, among all things, they are not worried about implementing common school system, which is the only way countries around the world have achieved 99-100% of literacy, that is universalization of education. They are not worried about it. They are not worried about implementing the idea of neighborhood school. They are least worried about government schools closing down. It is a shame that the Yogi Adityanath government, so it is very interesting that when Yogi Adityanath came to power, he converted 5,000 schools into English medium schools, the government primary schools. And now he is closing down 27,000 schools, because he says that the strength of these schools had dropped to below 50, and therefore these schools cannot be sustained. So schools in the neighborhood are being merged, and government is quite they're taking a lot of interest in promoting the liquor shops, the excise policy. So it is quite enthusiastic about its excise policy, opening liquor shops, and even between the country made and the foreign liquor shops, the foreign liquor shops are doing well. They are more glittering, they are more sale, they're more crowd at the foreign liquor shops. So a government which is run by an organization which believes in the ideology of Swadeshi, headed by a Hindu monk, is promoting an excise policy where they want to sell liquor and make money, and they are closing down their schools. So they are not worried about this. They are worried about the 3-language formula, because the hidden agenda is to impose Hindi and make it a national language. Now, the apprehensions of the Tamil people have been revived, and there is an opposition from the Tamil Nadu politicians. They see that this is a surreptitious way of promoting Hindi, and they would have none of it. So the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has said that he would stake everything, including his government, but not accept the idea of a 3-language formula. The Governor Ravi from Bihar has called Tamil Nadu, has questioned the loyalty of the Tamil Nadu state to the Indian Union, because it is not following a national policy, without talking about the apprehensions that the people of Tamil Nadu have. So overall, the government has mismanaged the implementation of 3-language formula. Had the government been more honest about it and would have convinced the students and teachers and parents in North India to learn at least one other language of the country, if not Tamil, maybe Bengali, Marathi, Punjabi, then it would have not been such a threat for southern states like Tamil Nadu. When they would have seen that people in North India are serious about picking up languages from around the country, then I'm sure some of the students would have learned South Indian languages also, like the Navodaya school in Allahabad, where children learn Malayalam. Their apprehension would have decreased. They would have been more acceptable to consider the 3-language formula, and would maybe have been willing to learn even Hindi. But because it is seen as a move by the Bharatiya Janata Party government, which wants Hindi to be the dominant language, and a hegemonic language, which would rule over all other languages, it is seen as a threat by Tamil Nadu and I'm sure some other states, and therefore there is not the kind of cooperation that the union government should have got from other states in this matter. And this also shows that the priorities of the BJP government are totally misplaced. Instead of worrying about the quality of government schools, instead of worrying about the plethora of private schools which are charging very high fees, delivering very little in terms of quality, instead of worrying about the idea of common school system not being implemented, totally ignoring the Uttar Pradesh High Court judgment of 2015, where Justice Sudhir Agrawal said that the children of people receiving salaries from the government must compulsorily study in government schools, because that is the only way the judge thought that the quality of teaching in government schools would improve. And everybody from the middle classes and lower wanted that, because then the quality of government schools would have gone up and they would have been able to provide education to their children at no cost or little cost, whereas now they have to pay high fees to the private schools and are at the mercy of the tyrannic management of these schools. So instead of worrying about the real issues, like in other matters, the Bharatiya Janata Party government has picked up an issue which should have been of little concern until other things were taken care of, and it is essentially ideologically driven. It believes in one nation and one everything, and therefore I think it is part of this one nation, one language ideology that they want to implement this. But it certainly is not going to go very far with the kind of stance that the Tamil Nadu government has taken, and rightly so. And we would like the whole thing to be given a fresh consideration. A full debate should happen on it, and it must be questioned as to why the North Indian states have avoided implementing this policy in its true spirit. Where are children in Hindi speaking states learning any other language of the country? So why should the children in Tamil Nadu be forced to learn a third language, when the children in North India, which is a large population, do not have the compulsion of learning any other language besides their mother tongue? English is now considered as almost inevitable. Everybody has to learn it because it has a market value. Even parents want their children to learn English, unfortunately. But when it comes to the third language, we are not serious about it. Thank you.